Before we jump into today's video, I wanted to remind you guys that our NFL Survivor contest for the 2025 season is live. $10 per entry. You can enter up to 5 times, and if we fill this pool up, the winner is going to take home nearly $3 grand. Imagine turning 10 into $3 grand. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. If you guys don't know what a Survivor contest is, it's really simple. It does take a little strategy, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. You pick a team to win each and every week in the NFL. If they do win, you move on and advance. If they don't, you didn't survive, right? For example, if I like the Patriots, I'll take them week 1. If they win, I move on to week number 2. The catch is you can only take one team once. They're off the board once you use them for the season. That's where that strategy comes in. So go ahead and check it out. Again, you can enter up to 5 times. You can have multiple teams going. Check it out. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Now let's jump into today's parlay. All right, guys, welcome back to the second channel here for the MLB Parlay of the day. Yesterday, we smacked another one. That is 3 of the last 4 days we've hit these parlays. Now, I'm not bringing out the money gun or anything like that because this was a 5-legger for, I think it was plus 232 odds. Not exactly the best value thrown in 5 legs into a parlay with heavy juiced alternate lines, right? But still, you know what? We'll pump some crowd noise. We'll drop the cha-ching. I just don't think it truly warrants the money gun celebration there. But yes, another one hit. If you aren't aware of how we do things here with the parlay of the day, we go through the entire slate rather quickly and try and pick out some pieces that make sense for a parlay. So we're taking alternate lines, heavy favorites, that type of thing, and try to build like a 3, 4, or 5 leg parlay with a decent payout, right? So if that sounds good to you, we can go ahead and dive in. Just a reminder, guys, we are on the second channel. So if you aren't aware, you're normally watching the main Guy Boston Sports channel. This looks very similar. We're on a new channel here on the More Guy Boston Sports channel where we're doing this series. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let me know your parlay thoughts in the comments. But let's get into game 1 here on the MLB dashboard. You can see we got St. Louis taking on the Reds. I actually like the Reds today as a straight play. Littell on the bump. I think that he could be good against the St. Louis offense that kind of struggles. My only concern is that they do hit his, 2 of his main pitches, the splitter and the slider. They hit those fairly well. And there's a couple guys in here that hit them really well, right? You could see a lot of green in terms of the pitch mix rating. So I do think that we skip this one. But again, I do like the Reds as a straight play, just not necessarily like a parlay piece altogether. And real quick, before we do get into this game, this is the Guy Boston MLB dashboard found on GuyBostonSports.com. Head over to the members area, sign up. It's $6.99 for the next week, too. If you have an MLB membership or if you want to sign up for the MLB membership, you're going to get access to the NFL dashboard here, which is super great. This might be one of the best dashboards we've ever made. Looks great on mobile, too, which I absolutely love. But yeah, this is an example of the MLB dashboard. Very, very similar each and every game. All the key stats that you need to know. But that's its own membership where you can do the All Sports membership. But again, if you have an MLB dashboard membership right now, you get access to that for free until the season starts, just so you can kind of go in there and test it out. Obviously, it's data from last year, not updated data, but still, just wanted to call that out. We got the Phillies taking on Atlanta. Phillies were part of our parlay yesterday, right? And I guess they came through. We had their team total over an alternate line. They scored 1,000,000 runs yesterday, so you love to see that. I think that they are probably a decent look in terms of scoring runs again today. You're going to see the sinker and slider out of Bryce Elder. They hit both these pitches well, and check out the slider. I mean, everybody and their grandmother seems to crush the slider. You have Harper, Realmuto, all these guys hit the slider well. So I guess in terms of what we'd look at here, maybe Phillies team total over yet again. I just think that we're probably having to pay a pretty hefty price tag. Yeah, over 3.5, actually, minus 250. That's not terrible. I don't mind the idea of just saying, hey, screw it, let's take them on the money line. Or like the first 5, because I do have a little bit of concern with this bullpen potentially blowing games, but overall, I don't think that Bryce Elder is going to hold it down all that much. My one concern, I guess we could say, is he's going to keep the ball on the ground. That's because of that sinker, and the Phillies do hit the ball on the ground a decent amount. Projected right now, 5.4 runs over on Ballpark Pal. Our score predicts model is still running the job, so we don't have that available. I guess I'm going to, I think Phillies money line probably better off than taking their team total, even though that 3.5 looks pretty good. But I think if they score 4 runs today, they have a good chance of winning the game, right? Hopefully Ranger Suarez can kind of hold down the fort. So that'll be the first one we put in. And a reminder, guys, we do put a lot of things into the queue, into the bank, and then hopefully by the end of the video, we kind of whittle it down and take what we really like. So this is in here for now. It doesn't mean it's just locked in and cemented in, All right, here's an interesting one. The Rays taking on Washington. Mitchell Parker on the bump. He rolls out of bed and gives you, you know, a bunch of earned. Then you have Adrian Hauser, who throws the sinker. They hit the sinker okay. He struggles against lefties. There's a lot of lefty bats in this lineup, especially the run-scoring power type bats. I sit here and I think that there could be runs in this game. Even though both these offenses are a little scary and stuff like that, there could be runs in this one. Now, do we look at just the Nationals kind of fading Adrian Hauser against the lefties, or do we say, hey, both of you guys go out there and score some runs? What can we get for an alternate line here if we look at a total? Because 9 is a little high for my liking, especially to throw into a parlay. By the way, guys, this is Outlier. QR code on the screen if you want to check it out. We could go over 7. I don't mind that. Over 7.5. Don't mind that either. If we throw over 7 in, this should be okay, right? Yeah, we're already at plus 105. That's probably what we look at, I guess. Over 7 in this game. Actually, if we can get like Nationals for similar odds, so what would that would be minus 290-ish. If we can get Nationals over like 2.5 for better odds, which we can, I think that that's going to be what I'd take a peek at. But it is Mitchell Parker. For that 20 cents, I don't know if we have the same. You know what? Oh, this is tough. What does Ballpark Pal think? 4 to 5. So they think runs and then. Oh, it's a tough one. We're going to leave that over 7. I do think Nationals over 2.5 could be the move, but realistically, Mitchell Parker is part of what we're taking here. But this Rays offense isn't all that great at hitting the fastball or anything like that. We could see a decent, you know, pitch mix rating out of him as well. Ooh, this is a tough one, isn't it? How is his record against the guys on the current team? Not a big sample size. Hauser's isn't bad. All right, let's go ahead and leave in just the total over 7, okay? I think that's what we're going to roll with. Hopefully the Rays can give us a little bit of something there. All right, moving on to the next one. Shane Bieber for Toronto had one good outing, and then Peralta's on the other side of things. Total all the way down at 7.5 does seem kind of low for both of these offenses. They're both good offenses, so I think I immediately kind of look at an over. I think Bieber's obviously a very good pitcher, like we know that, but he only has the one start after coming back from last year, right? We have negative 1% in terms of a park factor, but that's not weather induced. It's a dome. Expect the roof to be closed. Maybe this is a spot in which we kind of just trust our gut and say, okay, let's take a peek at this over, but let's definitely nuke this thing down. Because they are two good pitchers, right? So if we go and look at, you know, over, I was thinking 5.5. Get us 6 runs. The Brewers on the road this year have hit that over in, let's see, 79% of games. Toronto at home, 80%. When Shane Bieber pitches, we only have the one start, and it did go over. That was a 5-2 game. Freddie Peralta this year, 81% of his games have gone over, and 1 million in a row. Let's add that one in there. It looks like we're heading down the path of a lot of juice yet again. But we do have the Phillies in there. That's within minus 200, so that's not too bad. I do like all 3 of these. Normally we're sitting here being like, you know, I don't like one of these. We'll probably replace it. All 3 of these I do like today. So yeah, let's see where we end up here. We got plenty of games to choose from. Boston and Pittsburgh's next. Skeens is pitching for Pittsburgh, and then Peyton Toll is pitching for the Red Sox. He is a young prospect who has climbed the ranks very fast. Looks like we have a lot of rain in Boston. Can confirm it's pretty gloomy out there. Looking out the window. I think that we have a low-scoring game at the beginning of this one. Trusting Skeens, trusting, obviously, a young pitcher to kind of get it done early. Probably wouldn't be a bad look. But ultimately, excuse me as I kind of like belch there, under 8 could be the move. Maybe we go full game under. I do worry, even though I think Pittsburgh is a pretty rough offense, right? I don't think that they're good at all. I do have a little bit of hesitation with the idea that, you know, this is a young pitcher, and maybe the second time through the lineup, they see him, he has a tell or something like that. So can we get like a first 5 alternate line and juice it through the moon? First, with Paul Skeens, we're probably not going to get much value. All right, I think this is going to be a game in which we move on from nothing much in that one. Logan Allen, George Kirby, 2 guys that, for the most part, have been pitching okay over the last couple weeks. I think that George Kirby has a really, you know, good spot here. He's going to throw fastball, slider, and sinker. All 3 of those pitches don't look all that great. So maybe we can get like an under for the Guardians, because their offense also hasn't necessarily been all that great. So if we look at like a team total under, maybe that's something we can do, and we can kind of juice this one up a little bit here. Under 4.5, man, that's how bad they've been that we have to take a line that I'm not even all that thrilled with. Yeah, I don't know if we love this. I mean, minus 5% looks like cold in Cleveland. Could we just look at a full game under and maybe take it? Like, I think we're focusing a lot on totals here, but I don't necessarily hate the idea of like an under 9.5 here, under 10. Under 10, does that work? Let's see, with George Kirby on the mound this year, they've hit the under in 71% of games. With Logan Allen this year, 67. When at home, Logan Allen 62. When George Kirby's on the road, 50%. That's not all that great. A couple pushes in there. Do we add that? Is it worth maybe even just considering Guardians on the money line? I think they're the better team right now. Bullpen's in decent shape. Tough. What is this? What do we got for ballpark, Bell? 4.9, so call it a... This looks like they're going to be a 9-run game. Let's keep this in here for now, this total under 10. We have 4 options. I'm thinking that this one is probably the least favorite as of right now, but we can move on. Yuri Perez pitching for Miami, and then we have Jonah Tong, who's getting called up here. I don't think they're really calling up like under the best pretense or whatever the hell the word I'm trying to look for is. They even said it's kind of like a one and done. They don't expect him to make another start unless he like thrills. I think that this is a spot in which Miami could be considered, but that's obviously more of a straight play. You know what I mean? We don't need to be risking plus 166 play in a parlay. Players, we could see some good offense out of the Mets, though. They hit the fastball well. We're going to get a ton of fastballs from Perez. Maybe we consider a Lindor, Soto, or a Vientos hit. A little too risky in my mind. We might circle back here, but I don't think so. Let's get to the Yankees and White Sox game. We got the Yankees, White Sox. Yoendrys Gomez on the mound for the White Sox, going up against Yankees pitcher Carlos Rodon. I see the Yankees scoring runs again, much like they did yesterday. So maybe Yankees team total over could be a nice spot to take a peek at here. Remember when at the end of the video yesterday, if you guys watched, we actually took out the Yankees and White Sox over? If we kept that in, we would have had some nice odds because that one ended up hitting. But over 3.5, I don't necessarily mind it. Yankees go out there and score 4 runs for us today. At the same time, though, maybe, it's a Yankees money line spot because we're getting better odds, right? The bullpen worries me, but I don't think this White Sox team is all that great. Yankees kind of rounding into form. Let's go Yankees money line. Very similar to the Philadelphia Phillies here. We like the idea of them, scoring runs, but better odds with the money line's probably the look. And as we even look at this more and more, I think I'm going to X out this Mariners and Guardians under. I think that, I don't like it as much as the other ones that we have in here. And we're already sitting at, plus 297. We could call it quits right now. I think that those are decent enough odds. We're not going to. We got plenty of games to go. But I don't think that point being is that Seattle and Cleveland game is going to make the list. Houston taking on the Angels. Houston coming off of a winning series against Colorado, though. And it's not like their offense looked all that tremendous. I struggle to think that they're worth a minus 180 flyer here. But at the same time, they're in a similar boat to the Yankees and Phillies. I think they're probably the better team in this spot. They should be, at least. I want to say Christian Javier is going to be good, right? Yet he doesn't have the most amount of starts coming back. This bullpen's really taxed. I think we stay away from this, actually, other than maybe kind of doing the opposite of what we did with the Phillies and the Yanks. Maybe we do consider a Houston run total here. So you can get 2.5, no, minus 400. Okay, all right, good enough. We don't need it. We don't need to force anything. Let's move on. Hope you guys are enjoying. Make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you are new to the new channel here, and comment 13 down below. Yes, lucky number 13 if you made it this far into the video. Royals with Lugo on the mound. Chris Paddock for Detroit. I think the Royals have a decent chance of scoring some runs today. They're going to see the fastball and changeup. They hit those fairly well. They're good against righties right now, and the top of the lineup hits those pitches really well. That being said, Chris Paddock obviously has his flashes and moments. This might be a spot in which we also can just fade Seth Lugo and look at an over altogether. It's at 9. Can we buy this down substantially? That would be the only thing that I think I consider. Maybe Royals team total over, though. That could be it. So Royals team total over, minus 340. A little too juicy for my liking, but can we get this down to, say, 7? 6.5? What do we got for a run index? Where are we at? Run index plus 7%. Let's throw this in at 6.5, or do we do 7 with that push potential? We'll do that. We'll throw this in. Do we like? I mean, it's very similar to our Rays and Nats play, right? We got 5 legs in here. I don't know if tough. I don't mind. Let's keep that in there for now. I think we want to eliminate and get back down to 4, but we could probably keep that one in there for now. I do think that the Royals put up a decent number, and I'm all down to fade Lugo, right? Especially given the fact that he's been really, really bad, especially at home. I mean, he's walking a lot of guys. It's a Tigers team that needs a guy that walks a lot of guys to get some guys on base, and throw in the fact that, he's got a large pitch mix, but most of these pitches, the slider, sinker, and curveball right here, making up half of it, they hit pretty well, right? So yeah, I think we can look at an over in that one. Let's move on. We got four or five games left. Zebby Matthews and the Twins against Nestor Cortez and the Padres. I want to say the Padres can put up a number here. I think that they're worth considering on the money line, but both of those I would think are more tied to like a straight play. So hate to go through this one that quickly, but there's nothing that I'm like over the moon about in this matchup, even though I think it could be a good game for the Padres. Cubs taking on the Rockies. I really don't mind the idea of tossing the Cubs in a parlay here for the money line. They got swept by the Giants. Yes, they now travel to Colorado. Is that the best situation? No, but Colorado's traveling to Colorado as well, and the Cubs are the better team. So let's toss the Cubs in there. Maybe we get rid of a couple of these plays, because now we have 6. That's a little bit too crazy for me. Brewers, Blue Jays, maybe we get rid of that. Over 5.5 looks pretty good. This 7 could worry me, I guess, right? Let's take out that 7. I kind of want to leave that one in there. Phillies, Yankees, and Cubs. Heavy favorites today. Phillies did just score 20 runs. Or however many. All right. We'll leave these 5 in for now. I think that we might still, again, whittle it down. I know I've said that like a broken record, but I do like the idea of the Cubs kind of bouncing back into form. I don't like them traveling to Colorado, but at the same time, Rockies had to do that as well. All right, an update job is running for the dashboard right now, so we're going to use the back-end version for the rest of the video. We only have a couple games left. We have Texas and the Athletics. I think that this is a good spot to back the Texas Rangers, but again, that is more so a straight play. You're getting them for a decent value. I don't think Jeffrey Springs is all that tremendous. You have Texas good against lefties. The changeup is going to be one of his main pitches. They're hitting the changeup really, really well. And the fastball he throws a lot, though they don't have the best ratings here. The top of the order hits the fastball well. So I think Texas could definitely be in play in terms of money line, but you might as well probably just roll with that on its own, right? It doesn't need to be something that you toss into a parlay. So probably nothing in this one. Zach Gallen, Blake Snell. Gallen's actually been pitching okay. I think Blake Snell's obviously a very good pitcher, but the pitch mix kind of looks good for Arizona. I think that we could see some runs in this game. A decent amount of righties as well, and especially the switch hitters in the lineup too, Marte and Perdomo, Vargas as well, but top of the order there. They will be from the left side. The right side. Clearly does struggle against righties. An over is worth considering here, I would say. But again, Blake Snell, Zach Gallen's been okay. I think that we could see decent pitching out of them. The bullpens give me hope for the over, but much like we just talked about with, the Padres and even the Rangers and stuff, it's like, I do like it. I don't know if it's worth buying down, paying a lot of juice for a game in which would it surprise you if Blake Snell goes out there and pitches well. Even Zach Gallen, maybe that would surprise us, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that this is parlay worthy. So let's move on. Last game here, Baltimore and the Giants. I think Baltimore is another underdog look today. I like a lot of dogs. I will say you're going to see a ton of fastball cutter splitter. Giants hit those pitches well. So over is something that I'd consider, because Robbie Ray I don't think that his pitch mix is going to be all that great, right? Fastball, that's a pitch that they hit. You can even see the slider at the top of the order. As a team, they don't hit it all that well, middle of the pack, but top of the order hits that slider really well. And Baltimore just got swept by the Red Sox. 4 straight games. It was a 4-game sweeping. So maybe we take a peek at an over here. And we could probably, this one's already at 7.5. We could probably buy this thing down pretty damn good. Over 5.5. Can we add that in there? I mean, we're counting on 2 meh offenses, though. These are 6 legs. I don't know what I want to exclude. This is tough. I guess I don't love that over as much. So if we stop here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs. Phillies, hopefully they can stay hot. Hopefully we just see a few runs out of the Blue Jays and Brewers. Yankees win the damn game. Cubs win the damn game. And then over 7 for the Tigers and Royals. Make sure we have the best odds there. 475 on DraftKings. MGM 467. Varying odds in terms of some legs aren't available elsewhere. But you know what? I think it's going to be something that we end up rolling with. Again, Phillies money line, Brewers and Jays over 5.5, money line for the Yankees, money line for the Cubs, and then over 7. That could push for that Tigers and Royals game. That's going to do it for our parlay. Happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully this one hits and we cash another one. 3 of the last 4 nights. You kidding me? Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.